The reading for this Sunday is taken from the 4th chapter of Mark, verses 35 through 41. On that day, when evening had come, Jesus said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat just as he was. Other boats were with them. A great gale arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that the boat was already being swamped. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." That the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" The word of the Lord. When I looked at my folder with the readings for this particular Sunday, I found something called a rite of welcoming after absence. And at first puzzled, I realized that it was the beginning of the service at Trinity Cathedral 1 year ago this weekend. It was the first time that we had all been together since March 15th, several months before. Like many other churches, we scrambled to, once the order came through that we had to close because of COVID-19. Father Sinclair was able to dust off his college communications major and pre-record services that we could put online. We made do. It would be many months past Easter and Pentecost before we were able to gather in person again. And then when we did, we felt a need to acknowledge both the joy and the anxiety of returning to church. Well, the Anglican tradition seems to have a rite for everything, so we soon found one to put at the beginning of the service. And imagine my surprise when I looked further in my folder and discovered that the service was actually morning prayer, wasn't even a Eucharist. And I thought, of course, we wanted a short service. We were still anxious about being together as people. We wanted as little movement as possible, so we chose morning prayer. And when I think about all of that, I'm deeply grateful that we are here a year later, now offering Eucharist in person at Trinity Cathedral. At the same time, I recognize that many of you who are watching this still are reluctant to be around crowds of people, even those who have been vaccinated, and even if you too have been vaccinated yourself. Even so, things are better than they were a year ago. In the context of what we've gone through these many, many months, the story that we heard just now about Jesus is really a powerful metaphor for where we are. The disciples must have been exhausted. The verses before the reading today said that they were so tired and so busy they didn't even have time to eat. And then these huge crowds arrived, and Jesus felt that he really needed to teach them the entire day. Now it was evening, and he wanted to go back to the other side of the sea. Wearily, the disciples piled into the boat with him and took off. And while they manned the oars, Jesus slept. In Mark's telling of the story, Jesus was asleep in the stern on a cushion, such a wonderful detail that really brings the story to life. As they struggled across the sea, a great storm arose and the boat began to be swamped. It was already being swamped. Terrified, the disciples woke Jesus and said, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" Jesus woke up, and without saying a word to them, he turned to the sea and the wind and he said, "Peace, be still." And there was a great calm. Only then did he upbraid the disciples for their lack of faith. We've been tossed through a metaphorical storm these many months. A year ago, we were still facing a bitter presidential election as well as the pandemic. Both of those storms have lessened for now, but neither one has really ended. And for many people, Jesus may still seem to be asleep on the cushion. One thing has not changed, however. The words of Jesus Christ still have their power. Peace, be still, could still be said to us. For me, those reminders of a year ago give me the energy and the courage to keep moving forward. because I know that even in the midst of the weariness and the fear that we all experience, Jesus is still in the boat with us. And because of that, we will get to the other side. All it will take is faith and a lot more rowing. Amen.